without further ado, I'd like to quickly get into what happens if my home has not sold.
Or what if you just can't sell it?
Yeah.
Circumstances, economic circumstances, personal circumstances.
So what do you do, right? So, I mean, there's a million reasons why a home hasn't sold. Well, actually, it boils down to four reasons, okay? Realistically, 4 reasons. Condition, okay? So how's the home? Is it in fair condition? Is it in poor condition? So if it's in a poor condition, does it make sense to put the money in to bring it up? And if you do want to renovate or take the money to bring it up, I would strongly suggest to call me, okay? All right, call me so I can tell you where exactly to put the money. You don't get a return on investment for everything. I know you've heard it time and time again on the show. We want to make sure that you're netting the absolute most. Don't go to town yourself and just say, okay, I'm going to redo the kitchen, I'm going to redo the bath, I'm going to do this and that. And you've got the best intentions, but maybe not so much for your pocket. I know because I work with hundreds of sellers and buyers. I know exactly where the buyers want that money invested, where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck, okay? And if it's not me you choose to use, there are some really phenomenal realtors in Rhode Island. If you have a contact, reach out to your realtor, contact them, and make sure that you're getting that appropriate advice, okay?
So what's the second reason?
So the second reason would be terms, okay? So terms. What do I mean by terms? I mean the interest rates, okay? Now, we know that interest rates are changing, and as interest rates increase, many property values are going to go down. Now, guys, I've seen a lot of real estate agents out there misinformed, and it's not a dig at them because there's a lot that are informed, but a lot of them that are saying interest rates are going up, prices are coming down.
That's not true because there's an 80% likelihood of an interest rate hike next month in December, and this just increased from 64% last month. And I just spent 2 days in Philadelphia with some of the top CFAs available, listening to them and their predictions, and they predict 2 interest rate hikes in the year 2017. There's not going to be 4, there's going to be 2 is what we're estimating. And so it's going, will interest rates come up? Yes, slowly. Oh, yeah. There's not going to be staggering, inflation or deflation. It's going to be very controlled.
They have to, though, and I think
they do.
Eventually it's a good thing. Now, here's what's going to happen, though. Here's my prediction, okay? Interest rates will go up, and once they hit around the 5-point mark, I think the market that's going to take a hit is your jumbo market, okay? Because 1.5% more on a rate, or 1% more on a rate for $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000.
The cost of money
that's a lot of money.
Cost more, but I will say that in that particular market space, houses that, and I call those McMansions, anything at the $500,000-$600,000 mark, $550,000 up. Those are pretty stable buyers and sellers. Those are typically 2 executive households, high income earners, and their ability to borrow money and put down larger down payments is pretty steady.
Those are,
but the cost of money will cost more, so the bank will give you less when they look at it and they say we'll only lend you 45% of your adjusted gross income. For a mortgage, your payment goes up. It means you can buy less house. So it will, in a supply and demand world, will bring the pricing of houses down. And my point is, when you can't sell a home, what are some of the reasons behind it? Are you upside down and can't get out of that mortgage? Financially, things like that. Folks, there's options available to you.
My prediction is that the price ranges between $200,000 and $400,000 are going to do phenomenal in 2017. I think they're going to do really great because you're going to have those people that were teetering on the line of, all right, do we buy this $500,000 house or do we find a home that makes more sense now for our budget, for our retirement, for overall? And a lot of people are more and more savvy as far as, with savings, with the retirement. I think the recession kind of did that to us like it did to our grandparents back in the Great Depression.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
The other two are going to be marketing. Okay, so how well is your home exposed? Now, listen, and we say this, time after time as well. Real estate is no longer slap your home on the MLS.
Remember back in the 80s, those black and white print books?
I don't remember.
Can you even imagine?
I don't remember.
Having to look through a black and white book.
My earliest.
We have the internet now, people.
My earliest memory of that was 1992 when I was out shopping with my mom and dad, And they got this thick book, and you could only access that book when you went into the real estate office.
Right.
Well, nowadays, there's over 900 consumer websites out there, and you need to make sure your home is on every single one of them. But it's not only that. You've got to make sure that you've got exposure through video. Mm-hmm. Now, people are 85% more engaged with video than still
Absolutely.
photos.
And I've got to tell you, I look at a lot of real estate, and if I see 2 or 3 pictures, or I just see a picture of the exterior of a home and nothing else, I'm going, the inside's got to be a mess.
Yes, or a video of
and
the
what
pictures.
If it's not?
I hate that. Don't show me a slideshow of the pictures I've already looked at. Let me vomit in my mouth right now, thinking of that.
I'm like, nope, and keep going. And so it's about the attention span and how your property is being marketed.
Yeah.
And pictures and video, most especially video, is the hottest
It's
trend.
huge. But it's what you do with the video that really matters. It's how you get it out.
It has to be seen. It has to.
Yeah, anybody can take a wonderful
viral.
video, but do they know how to get it out there? So
do they have a database? I mean, that's a question I would be asking.
That's another thing,
if
too.
I'm listing my home, I want to know how many people in your database, what resources are you using to market it, how are you going to set yourself apart? I mean, these are questions you need to ask yourself. If you have a listing broker that has, or agent that has simply put up that exterior picture and nothing else, I think maybe you need to reconsider.
Oh yeah, you got to be careful with that.
Yeah,
definitely. So marketing, I mean, we could talk about that all day, stuff, but not every agent's going to invest the same in marketing. Keep this in mind. Across the country, I've read an article. Don't exactly remember where. I wish I could. If I remember, I'll let you know after. But $270 on average is what the average realtor spends per month on all their marketing. Mm-hmm. So if they have 10 listings, it's $27. That's $27. Now,
right.
I mean,
that's nothing.
You can't even believe like what we invest on. We're around $1,000 to $1,500 on a listing.
And going back to that scenario, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but if even if the house is antiquated, and I picture the 90-something-year-old couple that died, and it's an estate sale, and the plumbing and electrical and everything's outdated, I don't care. Put a picture up online, because I can look at that, as an investor and say, all right, I can see I'll go and look at that property. But if I see nothing, I'm not going to waste my time making an appointment and driving out of my way.
There's a buyer for every house.
There is.
And the marketing is all about finding that buyer. Now, sometimes homes are extremely difficult to sell. They might have something funny to them. And it takes time to find that buyer, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, so that's marketing. Now, the next thing is price. Now, the worst thing you can do in this market, or any market really, is to overprice your home. You're so much better off pricing your home at or right around market, okay? If you're 1 or 2 or 3% higher, that's okay, depending on the market. Don't go crazy. Don't put it 5, 10, 15% higher, because your house is going to sit. And on average, if your home sits for 17 weeks or longer, you're only going to get 93% of the fair market value in your offer. That's bad. So don't overprice your home, okay?
I would agree.
Now, all right. Now, to answer the biggest question, those are the 4 reasons why basically a home doesn't sell. Now, to answer the biggest question of all, what do I do? What do I do? Well, you can look at remarketing the home. We've had a huge success with taking homes on, remarketing them, doing all that, and we've been able to sell virtually every home we've ever taken on like that. Or you can talk with a cash investor. Now, I've got a long list of them, and I can have these guys compete for you, okay? We can get offers. They're not going to be around fair market. They're probably going to be around 80% of fair market value, but I've got cash people, the investors, that will buy your home today.
And I would say in that scenario, if you need to move for whatever the driving factor is, you need to get out of your property, and you have a cash investor that will come in, or a buyer, and there might be a shortfall between the payoff of a mortgage, you can hold a second mortgage. And sometimes you only need $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 to cover the shortfall. You can raise that on credit cards. You can take a 401k loan. If you don't have that cash on hand, speak with us. We'll help you find a way to get out of something. And I'm not an advocate of creating debt, but but sometimes the reward of getting out of a situation is worth the short-term pain of getting out of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking a job that's paying you $30,000 more a year, I think it's a good thing to to just take care of what you need to and go. It might help you out more.
And rent to own.
And you could also rent it out, and we've done that in some cases. And you can rent your house out, and we can find awesome renters for you.
Mm-hmm.
Really great people.
Possibly even a rent to own. A lot of renters get into a house when it's a house, not an apartment, and they get comfortable and want to stay. And then they want to buy it. So you're paying down your mortgage, you're building up your equity,
Mm-hmm.
you're covering the mortgage with the rental income, and hopefully covering it in full.
Totally.